Okay, so today I want to talk to you about jealousy. Jealousy specifically in romantic relationships. This is a topic that has come up multiple times via Twitter and Facebook when I've asked you guys what you wanted me to talk about. And I find this topic fascinating because I have personally examined my relationship with jealousy over the past several years and am very happy to share my 2 cents or 4 or 5 cents, which is probably what this is going to turn into, just so you know. Anyway, Shakespeare called jealousy the green-eyed monster. And I have always loved that description because isn't that so apropos, right? Like when you start to feel jealous, it really does feel like you're being possessed by this like ugly monster that's going to like come up through your throat and then just start like yelling craziness in the direction of whatever's making you jealous. It's not good. You really do feel possessed by something else. It's an ugly feeling. And as a result, a lot of us really do everything we can to avoid jealousy coming into our lives. And often, because it is easier to do so, when we feel jealous, we blame whatever the object of the jealousy is versus probably the cause of the jealousy, which is somewhere rooted in us and our own psyche and our own insecurities and all that, right? So that's the first thing, is like in my approach to jealousy these days, the first thing I look at is like, okay, where is this coming from in me? I was in a relationship a couple of years ago where I went from being like a normal jealous person to being like a really jealous person, and I didn't like that. And I used to call it seeing red, right? I'd like see red and then like say some stupid crap. And I realized based on that relationship that I wasn't getting what I needed out of the relationship, but it wasn't even the other person's fault. It was a lack of confidence, a lack of me really truly being myself in that relationship and feeling seen and feeling attractive. And that was something I really needed to address in myself. It had nothing to do with what the other person was doing. So often, right, jealousy has more to do with us than the other person. So that's number one. Number two, if we villainize jealousy, if we really, truly are like, that is the worst feeling and I'm going to do everything to avoid it and anything that makes me feel that is bad, then like we rob ourselves of actually doing that introspection that I was just talking about. You know, like I really challenge you, next time you feel jealous, sit with it, breathe, and just go, this is just a feeling. This is a feeling like any other feeling. It might be an ugly feeling, but it's just a feeling, right? And it is indicative of something else. So there's that, right? It will help not to like act on the crazy if you do that first, I find. And then the last thing, which I think is kind of the most revelatory of the stuff that I've at least been talking to myself about in regards to jealousy, is this idea that jealousy honestly comes from starvation economy thought. So starvation economy, for those who don't know, is like basically the idea that there's only a finite amount of food, and so everybody is like scrounging for that food, and my food is my food and not your food. And it's like every man for himself, right? Kind of like that. So when you apply that to relationships, what it does is it implies that there is only so much love to go around, there's only so much sex to go around, only so much affection, attraction, you name it, time, whatever it is, only so much, and your partner only has a finite well of that, and if it's not all being given to you, then that well's going to dry up. Well, most of us know when we really stop and think about it, that humans are way more capable of abundance than that, right? Think about our own attractions to other people, right? I mean, first of all, no one here is under the impression that when you're in a relationship, you're never going to be attracted to anybody else again, right? We all know that's crazy, right? Okay, we're all going to agree that that's crazy, that assumption. So, under the assumption that we are going to have attractions here and there, whether they're emotional or physical or whatever, like, that doesn't mean that the well of attraction and love that you give your partner is suddenly dry. That doesn't mean that. And it shouldn't mean that in regards to their own well for you, right? The more that we can, and this is a hard concept, I recognize that, but the more that we can concentrate on like, yo, it's okay if like you're talking to that chick who might be cute. Like, maybe it makes me a little jealous, and actually maybe that turns me on a little bit. I don't know. Maybe let it do that too. But you doing that, as long as you are acting within the agreed upon bounds of the relationship, of course, and there's honesty and communication, that doesn't mean you don't love me. It doesn't mean you're not attracted to me. And truthfully, if it does mean that, whatever, more fish in the sea. I got confidence. See ya. Right? I mean, if we can make jealousy just a feeling to be examined and not the enemy to be combated, then we learn a hell of a lot more about ourselves, about relationships, right? I don't know. At least that's been my experience. So, for what it's worth, jealousy. There you go. Thanks, guys.